The last time I heard my wife laugh genuinely was the morning my mother died. I remember it because it struck me as wrong. We were sitting in the kitchen, the winter sunlight slicing across the granite countertops. The news had come in. Mom's heart gave out during her morning walk. I was stunned, numb even. My wife, Ava, had reached across the table, squeezed my hand, and offered all the right words. "I'm so sorry, James." She was wonderful, but her eyes didn't match her voice. And later that day, I heard her on the phone with her sister, laughing, a deep, relieved kind of laugh. She didn't know I was walking down the hallway. When I stopped and listened, I caught the tail end. Finally, we can move forward. He's going to inherit everything. Everything. Something cold coiled in my chest. Still, I said nothing. My mother had always warned me about Ava. She sees your future as hers to sculpt, James. Be careful she doesn't chisel away your soul while she's at it. But I'd ignored her. I was in love. Or maybe I was just deeply committed to an illusion. My mother, Margaret Ellison, was a quiet woman with a razor-sharp intellect and a knack for financial planning. She lived modestly. No flashy clothes, no exotic vacations. But behind that unassuming lifestyle was an empire built from decades of smart real estate investments and a stake in a biotech startup that exploded 5 years ago. When her lawyer, Mr. Bernard Quinn, called me in, I was prepared for maybe a few $100,000. I nearly fell out of my chair when he revealed the truth. Your mother's estate is valued at approximately $12.4 million, James, and you are her sole beneficiary. Ava sat beside me, squeezing my knee under the polished mahogany table. "Isn't that wonderful, babe?" she said, her voice syrupy sweet. "Your mom wanted to take care of you." Mr. Quinn smiled slightly but didn't respond. There was something in his eyes, something I didn't understand yet. That night, Ava poured champagne, toasting with wide eyes and a grin I didn't trust. She started talking about travel plans, Paris, Santorini, Dubai, and mentioned, almost offhandedly, how we should consider renovating a house or maybe just buying a bigger one. Something had shifted in her tone. It wasn't about us anymore. It was about what she could now afford. I barely drank my champagne. The glass sat sweating on the counter while Ava danced through Zillow listings and luxury handbags. 3 days later, I walked in from work to find divorce papers on the kitchen island. I stared at the papers. For a few seconds, I didn't understand what I was looking at. Then it hit me like a freight train. Ava walked in wearing yoga pants and a fake sad face. "I think it's best for both of us," she said, her voice trembling just enough to mimic sincerity. "We've grown apart. I felt it for a while now." "You felt it," I repeated, numb. "Before or after my mother died?" Her lips tightened. "Don't make this ugly, James. Let's keep it civil." I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just nodded, walked to the bedroom, and sat there for an hour, my mind racing. If she was leaving now, just after money came in, it was obvious what she was doing. And legally, she'd be entitled to half of the assets accumulated during the marriage, unless my mother had seen this coming. I returned to Mr. Quinn's office the next morning. "I want the full details," I said. "Not the headline, the fine print." He nodded slowly, as if expecting this. "Your mother created a private trust," he explained, placing a thick binder on the table. "Everything, her assets, her properties, her biotech shares, they were all transferred to the trust 2 years ago. She gave it to me before she died?" "Not exactly," he said. "You're the beneficiary. Yes, but you don't technically own any of it. You receive a monthly disbursement. The principal remains protected. Your mother anticipated certain complications." He slid a page toward me. In her own handwriting, in her elegant cursive, my mother had written, "If James's marriage ends within 6 months of my passing, increase his disbursement by 60% and initiate Clause D. Ava is not to receive a cent. She married my son for what she thought was a future fortune, but I refused to bankroll a gold digger." I laughed, a broken, unbelieving laugh. "Mom, you brilliant, spiteful angel." When Ava found out, she came back, shaking with fury. "You're hiding money," she screamed. "You're lying to the court." That money is yours, and I'm entitled to it. I didn't flinch. No, Ava, it's not mine. It's the trust's. I get a monthly payment. That's it. That's bullsh. It's legal, I said. Ask your lawyer. And she did. A week later, she came storming into my driveway in a car she hadn't finished paying off, mascara streaking down her cheeks. You knew, she hissed. You and your mother planned this. No, I said calmly. My mother planned it. I just didn't stop her. Clause D was, frankly, genius. Ava had signed a prenuptial agreement. It had seemed pointless at the time. We were both broke when we married, but Mom had insisted. Ava had laughed about it back then. Your mom thinks I'm going to rob you, she joked. Clause D reactivated that prenup with teeth. If Ava divorced me within the 6-month window after my mother's death, the prenup kicked in retroactively, ensuring she left with only what she came with. Mom had predicted her perfectly. The divorce was finalized in under 2 months. Ava walked away with her clothes, her car, and her pride in pieces. But I didn't feel victorious. Not entirely. Watching someone unravel, even someone who tried to gut you, leaves behind a bitter taste. Ava wasn't a monster. She was a mirror, one that reflected my need for love at any cost. I didn't miss the money she tried to take. I missed the man I thought I was when I loved her. But there was one last surprise. Mr. Quinn handed me an envelope sealed in gold wax. She asked me to give this to you when everything's settled. I opened it. James, I know this must have hurt, but I'd rather you be hurt and free than loved and trapped by someone who sees you as a wallet. You're stronger than you think. And now that the vultures are gone, maybe you'll find someone who loves your heart, not your inheritance. P.S. Buy yourself that boat you always wanted. The trust allows it now. Mom, I smiled for the first time in weeks. 2 years later, I sit on the deck of a modest boat named the Margaret. The trust continues to pay out enough for me to live well, but not lavishly, just the way Mom intended. I've started volunteering at a financial literacy nonprofit, helping young people understand money and manipulation. It feels right. As for love, it's on the horizon. But this time, I'm looking with clearer eyes and a prenup in my back pocket, just in case.